generation. And yet they probably can't tell you who our Secretary of State is. They can carry on 5 conversations with Twitter, with Facebook, Skype, and texting, and yet many of them can't look someone in the eye and tell them how they feel. These kids will be able to reformat the hard drive of a PC or hook their iTunes up to dance craze so everything's working systematically, but they probably can't unclog a sink. In short, they're probably the same as we were. Different environments. And things were different in that regard, but in a lot of ways, basically, I see that they're talking about a lot of the same things. They talk about relationships and prom and who's going out with this and where we're going to college. Now, not everybody's going to agree with me on this, especially some of my colleagues, but I will also say, you didn't see me when I was in high school either. And so, because of that, I really don't see a lot of differences with some of the kids now on the real basic emotional level than I have. As we get older, really risk-taking and setting goals isn't necessarily always something that we've done. But yet, if you think about this, and a lot of you, when you were in high school, or even back up, when you were in middle school, you were told, okay, you're going into 6th grade, you're going to be able to get involved in sports, or you're going to be able to get involved with clubs, you're going to be able to do a lot of different things. And then they do. And then in 8th grade, they're told, you're going off to high school. You got all this opportunity. Join a club, play a sport, do an activity. So you're told all these things. And then you're told when you're a senior in college, okay, now you're going to go off to college, join a fraternity, join a sorority, join an honor society, be involved in this club, do that. I mean, you're told all of these things. And then you leave college and you think, whew, I have filled that quota. I no longer have to do this. And you think about it, the things that made you great in middle school and in high school and in college, now all of a sudden you take them off your plate and you think that they don't apply in any way, shape, or form. Goal setting and taking risks are not just for kids. They're for all of us. That is something that all of us really have a stake in. In the fall of 1995, after 18 years of successful teaching and coaching, I left the classroom to become an assistant principal. My wife still refers to those years as my years on the dark side. And in my 2nd year as an assistant principal, it's January, and I've got parking lot duty. So here I am, I'm in my boots, it's snowing, it's nasty, it's like 5 to 7, and I'm watching kids do 360s in the parking lot with their cars. Or as I like to call them, 2 pies. The math people in here, that's good. That's good. And I'm thinking to myself at the time, I know how I'm going to be spending the rest of my morning. Where it's January, I'd probably be teaching the fundamental thermal calculus. I thought, for me, this just did not feel like the right fit. And so at the end of that school year, I stepped down as an assistant principal. That was really a defining moment in my life. Was it worth it? I mean, to do this, to take that 2-year stint? Absolutely. Did it overwhelm me at times? Absolutely. Could it be considered a failure? If I'm being real honest, maybe. I mean, there are some things I thought I did okay, but if you have to draw the line to say, was it more failure than it was success, I would say at the time with that position, I would say probably. But real, authentic risk-taking actually involves the possibility of failure. I mean, when you take a chance, there is that real possibility of failure. We talk about it. We want our kids to experience it in a safe environment, but a lot of times we don't want to step and take that opportunity. When failure does occur, you got to figure out a way to make the most of it. I mean, you've got to find a way to make it work for you. When I was an administrator, I was back at graduate school to earn administrative certification. And during that time, I really liked going back to school. It wasn't like it was when I was a kid. I mean, that was the first time I really went back to school as an adult. When I left administration in '97, I decided to continue with my coursework. and then signed up for a PhD in math with a specialization in mathematics education. This was a risk for me as well. Quite frankly, because I didn't know if I could do the math. And you laugh, but for me, that was a big fear. My wife calls it math without numbers. Where's Mr. Bloom? Where's Dr. Bloom? That's what I'm talking about, math without numbers. I mean, I had to take classes like topology, real analysis, complex analysis. I had to do optimization with M by N. I mean, John Bloom over here, one of my former students, he's doing the wave right now. He's a mathematician at Harvard, and so he knows what I'm talking about. This, for me, this was a terrifying proposition, especially because I'm teaching in West Bloomfield, and I'm teaching some of these higher level classes. To not be successful there, A, was a real possibility, and B, I had to find a way to try to make it work. And if I didn't, then I was going to have to figure out what I was going to do there. Fortunately, I finished it in 2005, and what has happened is my professional life has really opened. In addition to teaching at West Bloomfield, I also teach at Oakland University, working with teachers, and that has been just a real rich part of my life. It's also opened up some consulting opportunities, where over the summer and some weekends I get a chance to travel and work with some other school districts. Being a lifelong learner is really not without risk, but the payout is even greater. At this point, especially if you look at the way our lifetimes are going, it is really important to reinvent ourselves. And you've got to, no matter what profession you're in, the opportunity or the ability to reinvent yourself is huge. Here's the other piece. Having children. We want our kids to step out and to be risk takers. What better way is than to model it? You know, what better way as a parent, or as an aunt, or as an uncle, is to model taking risks. Read everything and anything. I love Mike Abel, one of my colleagues in the back. Voracious reader, and not 2 school days go by when I don't get some poignant thing that has to do with everything from mathematics to education in general. I mean, some amazing things that I get from him. You got to dream. Without dreams, you can't set lofty goals. How are we going to help our children dream and achieve goals if we don't set the stage and model it ourselves? Exercise and healthy living. Community service. You know, we want our kids to be involved in community service. You know, they've got that, Karen, help me, freshman requirement, they've got to have 20 hours community service and go through all that. What a great opportunity to model for our children, is to take the things that we did that helped make us great and kind of continue that. Our world today is crazy. It's changing so fast, and it really almost seems impossible to catch up. Being a risk taker, I think, is really, really key. You look at the unemployment situation. It's awful. You know, college-educated people that have been successful in their careers now find trouble sometimes finding positions that fit their skills. We have to rely as adults on skills that we never knew that we even had. And our children are going to have to rely on skills that they don't even know about for jobs that haven't even been in existence. I mean, they're going to have to tie into that as well. We've got to embrace change as a part of our life. And I don't just mean technological change and going from email to texting. I mean, there are some big changes that we have to do. Let me talk to you about something that I think is interesting when it comes to change. And this is a great example. I've got a buddy of mine. He is now in Afghanistan. And his big thing in January 2010 was going to be his year to lose weight. And so what does he do? January of 2010, he buys an exercise bike and he buys a treadmill. And this is what he was going to do. He changed the environment. He changed the structure of his life. 2 weeks into that, it is the most expensive clothes hanger in county. Because he changed the environment, he changed the structure, but he didn't change the culture, he didn't change the belief system, he didn't change his actions at all. This is something, when you make changes, there's got to be a personal connection and a personal involvement with this. And really, same type of thing occurs with institutions. It's not just this micro thing, it is this macro thing.